The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is my Aftermath Live, the immediate Aftermath Live of David Benavidez versus David Morrell Jr. The result of the fight is a David Benavidez decision. A very entertaining fight. We had knockdowns, we had point deductions, we had explosive, hellacious exchanges. Overall, we just had a really good card from top to bottom. I mean, we had featherweights get, dropped and then come back up to win in devastating fashion, like Mirko Cuello. We had fighters that people were saying are the best in the division, like Brandon Figueroa, get absolutely, positively exposed by Stephen Fulton. We had Stephen Fulton silence the critics. We had Esau Cruz and Angel Fierro in an all-Mexican war, fight, clash, old school Mexican style fight. We had just a lot to talk about. So I'm here to give you guys that world-class boxing talk that we always deliver here on True School Sports. I hope everybody's doing well. This is probably gonna be, I'm not sure if this will be my last live in Japan, because if I go live tomorrow at the airport, then that'll be the last live. And I'm pretty sure more than likely this will be the last live for me on Japanese soil, because this is my last full day in Japan. My flight is tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be back in the States in probably like less than 48 to 72 hours. So yes, after 90 days in Japan, your boy BT is coming back to America, and I'm really excited about it. I feel like there's a lot to do, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to go ahead and just accomplish in boxing. I'm not coming back to America the same way I left as far as being a boxing content creator. I got better while I was out here in Japan. I figured some things out while I was out here in Japan. So let me go to some comments. We got great comments. Shout out to my boy Eddie. Eddie says that Ghost has been missing since Saturday, February 1st at 11 p.m. Yeah, man, Ghost. He was a big Morrell guy. Ghost, where you at, champ? David S says, you called her. I did. I told everyone in my TFMO senior voice. I told everybody that Brandon Figueroa is overrated. He's a good fighter at what he does. But he relies on his size and his volume way too much, and that was not going to be enough against a motivated, pissed off, and determined Stephen Fulton, who I thought, my opinion. Hold on, it's cold out here. In my opinion, I thought Fulton was unfairly criticized by the media. He was unfairly criticized for losing to another great fighter in Inoue, and he showed that he is what they say he is, or what I say he is. He's still a top fighter. He's still, one of the best guys out there. And that obviously sets up an Angel Leo rematch, which I'm going to talk about plenty on this live. So we'll definitely talk about the potential Angel Leo rematch unification and what could be next for Stephen Fulton. But let me go to some more comments. We got my man David Esther. He says, I like Benavidez, but he can't be Beterbiev. Bivol might be a more winnable fight for him. So as far as, because now Benavidez he's the mandatory. He's fighting the winner of that fight, right? So I think the more winnable fight is Bivol. Like, he has familiarity there with Bivol, right? From sparring. So there's that would help him in a fight. And then but as far as like Beterbiev, I've always thought that Beterbiev would beat Benavidez. I've always thought that. I don't know if I'm as confident as I used to be, just because, Beterbiev did show in his last fight that maybe he is losing a step, and Father Time is undefeated. So I might stick with my pick just because I've been talking so heavy all these years. I might just do it on general principle. I don't like, if I have deep convictions like I do about Beterbiev, I don't like moving off my square. So it might just be a pride thing, but I think Benavidez, he definitely he made up for the lack of performance that people that he had against Vosdick. I feel like he made up for it. He had Morrell, who was a very dangerous, explosive puncher all the way to the end, and he was able to go in there and just really show, like, as good as Morrell is, and as good as I think that this one will prove to age later on, I think that he still showed in this fight that he was just a level above him. And I think Morrell needed more experience. I'm not complaining that the fight happened. I'm actually excited that it happened. I think it's good for boxing that it happened. But from a management standpoint, because you guys know I look at boxing a lot of times through the standpoint of a manager, or like, I'm always thinking 3 or 4 fights ahead. So, like, I think maybe Morrell might have needed a fight or two more of development to be ready for this kind of fight, because Morrell had never gone this deep into a fight. Never. And he was basically asked to go this deep into a fight against a guy that is extremely good in the later rounds, and he needed a knockout or something like that early in the fight. I think that would have been his best path to victory. But look, he dared to be. He actually, I'll give Morrell his credit. He had what? This is his 12th fight, something like that, 11 or 12th fight. In this sense, I feel like Morrell actually did dare to be great. I feel like fighters use that term whenever they lose a fight, but no, you're talking about Morrell, a fighter with less than 15 fights, taking on Benavidez at the peak of his powers when he's the most confident, his mental abilities are at the highest they've been at in his career thus far, along with his physicality as well. You got to give him his due. He could have continued to fight, some guys in the lower part of the rankings and taken his time and maybe trusted his managers a bit more. But no, his managers believed in him. He believed in him. They took the fight. They lost. It's okay. I don't shun fighters for a loss. To me, I'm not like a lot of boxing media and a lot of boxing fans. I don't down these guys because they came up short in a big fight against another great fighter. He can come back. He can still do better. I mean, look at Stephen Fulton. People were writing him off. He exposed Brandon Figueroa and showed that he's still one of the top guys. Look at Angelo Leo. People writing him off after Fulton. He became champion. And the list goes on and on and on of fighters who lost fights, but they fought the best. And they lost against the best, but they came back and they responded to become champion again. So I think Morrell can become champion. I still think he's got his best boxing in front of him, and he will have just as long as he handles everything right and he doesn't allow the loss to get to his head. He has a lot of growth, a lot of room for growth. Not a lot of guys are going to put Benavidez down in the back half of a fight. Not a lot of guys can sit there and exchange Benavidez the way he was in those early rounds. So there's building blocks there, and you got to take the building blocks and you got to build off the building blocks and start implementing different things to his style and get him more experience. But overall, a great night of boxing. Like I said it on Twitter, I'll say it here. I really believe that people need to thank Al Heyman. They got to thank Al Heyman, right? Because I always hear about how PBC is this and PBC is that, and I'm not trying to fanboy a promotional company. I'm just really, I would like boxing to continue to be in America, big time boxing to be in America, and he's the only promoter that hasn't fully sold out to the Saudis yet. So, in my opinion, like from the beginning of this card to the end of this card, every fight was interesting. Every fight was solid or good or great or exciting. It's, in my opinion, I think this is better than any card Saudi put on. And I actually think if I would have spent $80 on this pay-per-view, or anybody who did spend $80 on the pay-per-view, they got their money's worth. Everyone got their money's worth. I mean, just so many things to talk about. So let me see. We got by the way, make sure you smash that like button, guys. I'm gonna go live for probably like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if it really picks up. But we here. It's the immediate aftermath of Benavidez versus Morrell. Dave Benavidez shows that he, as good as Morrell is, right now at this moment in time, he's just a level above. And it was a really entertaining fight. I think it's a big win. I think this is a massive win for Benavidez' career because now he's not just that guy that is chasing Canelo around. No, he's starting to show that there's value in him as a fighter. He's drawing good crowds in Las Vegas. He's becoming a standalone pay-per-view fighter. Not just a guy that was chasing Canelo. And I think that's big for him. It's big for him. It's big for American boxing. It's big for PBC. And I think he's someone that, as Americans, and if you're a Mexican American, if you're for the Mexican Americans and for the Americans like me myself, he's someone that we should all be proud to represent us. He's down to fight the best. He's a no-nonsense fighter. He says what he means and he means what he says and he walks like he talks. I used to. For those of you who really follow me, I used to criticize Benavidez a lot because I would get very frustrated with the hype he was getting for beating up smaller guys at 168. But the last 4 fights, I feel like he's made up for a lot of those criticisms that I had of him. And to be honest with you, he's won me over. Benavidez has fully won me over, and I want to see him continue to progress, and I want to see him continue to be one of the faces of boxing in America. Because I think he represents America, what an American fighter should be, very, very, very well. So. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Rex Rice. He says, Benavidez won by UD. Yes, sir. I think Yard is a better puncher than Benavidez, even though Benavidez will beat Yard head-to-head. They make the fights for a reason. That'd be a good fight. I mean, he needs to fight Beterbiev, Bivol winner next. He's the mandatory. But if he can't secure that fight, if you're asking me to make Benavidez a fight in the intermediate time, which I think he could win, but it will keep him going and it will be exciting. I think Anthony Yarde and Benavidez would be a great fight. I think Yarde has shown that there's not an ounce of bitch in him. He's down to fight anybody. Look at the guys he's fought. Look at the circumstances he fought those guys in. He's very explosive. I would like that fight. Personally, though, I think Yarde and Buatsi is the fight that should happen before that. They have a score to settle. That's been years in the making. But if that paperwork got passed and that fight got made, I wouldn't complain, not one bit, not one iota. That's a hell of a fight. Now, David S. just mentioned Esau Cruz. Yeah, Esau Cruz, I mean, Angel Fierro is a good, solid fighter. He's not like a world beater, but, he's a good, solid game opponent. And the fight was what I thought it would be. I thought it would be a Mexican war, but, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news to any Esau Cruz fans out there, Esau Cruz was supposed to go in there and knock out Angel Fierro. He was supposed to beat the brakes off of him. And I'm not going to complain. It was a great fight. Fierro showed that he belonged in the ring. But, Esau Cruz's punching power is not up to par. I keep telling y'all got to stop calling him the Mexican Mike Tyson. I know Mike, listen, I love Mike. Mike's very humble these days. Mike even said himself that Esau Cruz reminds him of himself. Listen, I mean, it's Mike Tyson, so I'm not going to argue with the great Mike Tyson, but, like, he's not the Mexican Mike Tyson. He's not Mike Tyson at all. He's not knocking guys out like a Mike Tyson where you can say that. But, as far as what he needs to do next, I mean, there's potential fights there. I mean, the Ryle rematch, I think, is something that he needs to go revisit because he lost to Ryle, but he said he doesn't want to fight Ryle because he runs around the ring. And Pitbull says that to anybody. Anybody who could box and move and beat him, he says they all run around the ring. And do fans want to see a runner or do they want to see a fight? So that's just an excuse he's going to continue to make. But I give Esau Cruz his due. I don't think he's no pound-for-pound fighter. I don't think he's the Mexican Mike Tyson. But I think Esau Cruz is definitely one of the most entertaining fighters in boxing today. If I made a pound-for-pound list of the most entertaining fighters, of the all-action fighters, the TV-friendly fighters, he'd be on it. He's never really in a bad fight. I can't think of the one time when I seen Esau Cruz in a non-exciting fight. So for that, I appreciate him. I think there's value in him in that regard. But if we're talking about being an upper echelon, top-tier, creme de la creme, top-shelf fighter, he won a world title, and I respect him for accomplishing that. But you can't just shun... You can't shun all the top guys that can box and move and say that they're running around the ring. That's just not cool. It's not befitting of a champion. It's not very Mexican of him. Cruz got hurt at one point in that fight. Yeah, he did. Fierro had him hurt. Fierro had him hurt and ready to go. To be honest, look, I think they should actually run it back. I enjoyed the fight. It was very entertaining. It was a Mexican war. Esau Cruz likes being in those kind of fights. He doesn't like fighting, guys like Shakur or those kind of fighters, or Ryo in the rematch. He doesn't want to fight runners. He wants to be un guerrero, un pelea. He wants to be in a Mexican fight. So give it to him. Put him in Mexican fights. Let him be the co-main event. Let him headline at smaller venues, and yeah. Can he beat Gervonta in a rematch? He's, in my opinion, he's going to always be a tough style match for Tank because he's one of the few guys in the weight class that's shorter than Tank, so Tank's not used to punching down. And you got to give Pitbull credit. Pitbull has a good defense. He keeps a good, tight, high guard defense, so it's not easy to penetrate the high guard defense. But I think Tank will beat him. Tank is better than him. He'll beat him. I think their first fight was the perfect storm. He was very good defensively. Tank broke his hand, but I just think that in the rematch, Tank will fold him and stop him, But look, there's value in that fight. Pitbull's a much bigger star since that fight. Tank is even a bigger name since that fight, so there's value in that fight. So yeah, shout out to Pitbull. As far as one of the other fights on the card that I was really looking forward to that I watched was Mirko Cuello versus Christian Olivio. And this was a good fight because this is an important fight because Cuello was the WBA. This fight was for the WBA mandatory spot. So the winner of this fight would become Nick Ball's mandatory. And I'm very high on Mirko Cuello. He's one of the guys that I think could be a serious threat to anybody in the division, including Angelo Leo, which you guys know I don't say that there's too many fighters at featherweight that I think could give Angelo Leo a good fight or beat him, but he's one of the guys that I look at like that. But in the Olivo fight, He got dropped in the second round. He showed that really and truthfully he has a lot of holes in his defense that he needs to clean up. And he was honestly he was down on all the scorecards. He was on his way to losing that fight if it goes the distance. But he produced a moment of magic. You know, Olivo, he pushed that button and the dog came out. And that dog that came out of Quayle was one of the biggest dogs I've seen out of anybody at featherweight. And he produced 2 knockdowns in the 10th and final round and gets a stoppage victory with a minute on the clock. So he showed a lot of weaknesses. I think he still needs some time to develop, but he is Nick Ball's mandatory. And I still think he will beat Nick Ball. I think he'll get better from this fight. I think he'll beat Nick Ball right now. I stand by everything I said. Olivio is a more explosive puncher than Nick Ball. Nick Ball is more of an accumulation puncher. So I don't think Nick Ball is going to knock him out. And if he tries to outwork him, he's going to get counterpunched and hurt. So I would love to see that fight. Does it happen? I highly doubt it, but I have my little platform here where I could go and voice my opinion. So I would like to see it happen, but I doubt it does. I think they'll cash Ball out to Inoue later this year, and if not that, then if Ball can get the Inoue fight and the WBA forces the mandatory earlier, then Ball may have to vacate, and then maybe Quayle fights the vacant belt now or in the future. So a good win for him, but again, showed a lot of gumption, a lot of heart, a lot of balls, but he needs to go ahead and clean his defense up, because he fights a guy like Espinoza, he fights a guy like Angelo, those kind of guys, he's cooked if his defense don't improve. BT, how did I score the main event? Main event was to be honest, I didn't score it. I really didn't score it. I was kind of just like I missed the first round and a half because I was editing the Fulton video that I did. Because I was like, you guys don't understand. I was so excited that Stephen Fulton beat Brandon Figueroa, because people were talking down about Stephen Fulton, saying that he was washed up, that he wasn't good, that he was a bum, and that Inoue did this, and I'm like, nah, he's still a top fighter. You guys are just being haters, and you guys are trying to dick ride Inoue and whatever, right? So that's one reason I thought I was happy he won. The other reason I was happy he won is because I've been saying it on this channel for like half a decade. Whenever people want to start talking about Brandon Figueroa, talk about how Brandon Figueroa is this, Brandon Figueroa is that, I've always thought Brandon Figueroa was overrated. I always thought he was a one-dimensional fighter who relied too much on his volume and size, and that point got proven to the max in this fight. And then obviously it sets up the Angelo Stephen Fulton unification rematch possibility. The real rematch, not this Figueroa bullshit. I'm talking about a real rematch between two actual A-level fighters, between two fighters that have lost and come back and become two-division champion. Real A-level fighters, That's all. I'm happy. But getting back to your question, yeah, Benavidez and Morrell, I didn't score it, but Benavidez and Morrell, the rounds that I did watch from round 2 on up, I thought that Benavidez took Morrell's punches very well early. He stood to the power and was able to show the versatility in his offensive skill set and outwork him and place the shots to the body and just slowly but surely, wear down David Morrell. He didn't get the stoppage, but he wore him down enough, and he made those investments to the body enough to where, Morrell couldn't really do what he wanted to do with him in the fight. So, that's that. Yep, everyone was counting out Fulton, saying he had no chance. I picked Fulton to win. I did too. I had him by UD. I had it on video. I said it all over Twitter. And I've been saying it for years that Brandon Figueroa is not, as good as a lot of people think he is. You guys are getting too gassed off Brandon Figueroa. Shout out to my boy Jairo Galvez in the comments section. He says, to be honest, BT, DAZN should have made Bivol versus Beterbiev 2 on regular DAZN. DAZN is $30 and want you to pay $25. Well, hey, the Turkey apologists are okay with that. They're okay with the $25 pay-per-views because it's a stacked card. If they are the same size, both Davids are made for Canelo. I'm actually not mad at that. I think Canelo with his counter-punching style would actually, if they're the same size, he could probably stop those guys. But they're not the same size, and that's why Canelo will probably not fight those guys. and why Canelo probably would lose to one of those guys if he did ever decide to fight one of those two. And Canelo's past it. Canelo's got a lot of M's in the bank. So, he's probably at that point, too, in the back of his head. He may still love boxing, but he don't necessarily need boxing. And when you get to a point in boxing where you don't need it anymore, sometimes that could play on a fighter's subconscious mind, I scored it 6-4 to Benavidez. Benavidez needs to move back down. That's not happening. He's not moving back down. He's too big to move back down. In fact, I think if Benavidez can't get Beterbiev and Bivol, I wouldn't even be shocked if Beterbiev tries to fight a cruiserweight. Maybe you might wind up seeing Benavidez fight Zorro, because Zorro's a champion and they got history. They used to spar each other. They know each other a little bit. So don't be surprised. You might fuck around and get Benavidez versus Zorro before you know it. But yeah, it's your boy BT, Brandon Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Make sure you smash the like button, guys. I'm out here in the cold because I can't even go in the guest house where I'm staying because I can't talk like this. So I got to be out in the cold. My hands is freezing right now, but I don't even care right now. I'm a tough guy. I can get through an hour and a half with my hands being a little cold. If that's what it's going to take for the boxing fans to get these content, to get some world-class boxing talk. Smash the like button, subscribe, super chat. We're here. Give me your thoughts on Benavidez, Morrell. Give me your thoughts on Figueroa, Fulton, all that stuff. Ramos versus Ian Green. Now that Ramos is a middleweight, I love that fight. Listen, Hyra, you already know what I think about Ian Green, so you already know what I'm going to tell you, and you're not going to like it. That's a layup fight for Zorro. You think so? I don't think so. I think if they fight, the difference in that fight is going to be their footwork. Benavidez got better footwork, and I think Benavidez can get more punches off. That ain't no damn layup. Benavidez is not a layup for anybody. It's okay. It's one thing to say that Benavidez, you think he lose to Zorro, but to insinuate that he's a layup, come on, man. You're making it sound like he's Brandon Figueroa, so he ain't no damn layup. You're making it sound like he's Brandon Figueroa. Come on. Can't do that. You see what we have? What else do we have on the card? You know what? F it, man. I'm gonna talk about this Fulton, right? Because I'm really just gassed off Steve Fulton. If you guys got any Benavidez questions or questions about any other fights on the card, just drop them in the comments and I'll get to them. But Stephen Fulton won. Congratulations to him. Listen, man, we need to talk about this Angelo Leo unification rematch, man, because we got unfinished business. We got unfinished business, man. Like, Stephen Fulton's a great fighter. I respect him. I love Bozy, great trainer. But Bozy Ennis was getting a lot of criticism after the Castro fight. People were saying that Bozy can't train for him because he can't be aggressive against this monster, Brandon Figueroa. And Stephen Fulton freaking washed him, beat him easy. It was one of the easiest fights of his career. It was a cakewalk. It was like taking a stroll in this park on a warm summer's day. It was easy work. But I'll tell you what won't be easy work for him. This Angelo Leo rematch, because the Angelo that he would have to fight now is not that same young kid that he fought 4 years ago. This is a much more mature person. This is somebody that's cleaned up their footwork, that actually has flashed one-punch knockout power on multiple occasions. Physically speaking, like, if you go back and you watch the first Fulton-Angelo fight, Fulton was pushing Angelo back, like physically, not with his punch, but physically. And that's actually what I think the biggest difference was in the fight, is that Angelo couldn't even work on the inside like he wanted to work because Fulton was so physically strong, so just stronger than him. And I know some things about Angelo, about how he was training at that time, and he's changed some things. And I don't think that will happen. And unlike Figueroa, Angelo actually knows how to pick his shots and has a more versatile punch selection. So it's a different fight. Like, it's a different fight for two reasons. It's a different fight because Angelo is a much better fighter than he was when they fought the first time. And it's a much different fight because Bozy Ennis is training Stephen Fulton. So you're going to get a more aggressive Stephen Fulton, and you're going to get a more well-rounded Angelo Leo. So to me, I was saying for a while that Espinosa versus Angelo was the fight to make in the division, but I told you guys, if Fulton grabs the title, that automatically changed. And guess what? Y'all can mark your calendar. February 1st, 2025. That was the day that it changed. Angelo versus Stephen Fulton unification fight is the best fight. Is the fight that needs to happen in the division. Because Bob Arum already said that he's not going to match his champions against each other because he wants all the fighters to get the payday against Inoue. So why not match? If the top-ranked matchmakers are confident enough, which I think they should be, there's enough there with Fulton where the matchmakers should be confident in Angelo being able to make the rematch different. Go to the rematch, pick off another belt, and then boom, there's more value in the Inoue fight because now it'll be 2 belts. And it's a rivalry fight. I think there's so much value in that fight. And I've always told you guys know I'm not lying when I say this, because if you listen to me talk, I've said this. This is the real rematch. This is actually 2 A-level fighters who have been champion in multiple weight classes, that have a lot to offer. And both of them, both these guys are like upper echelon, top tier fighters because they both have overcome losses to become champion again. It's easy to say a fighter is great when they're undefeated and everything's going well. And it's the same thing in life. It's easy to say, oh, well, this guy is that when everything's going well for a person. But how do you react when things don't go your way? How do you react when life don't go your way? How do you adjust? That's when you find the mark of a real fighter and a real person. And Fulton and Angelo have both proven the kind of people and fighters they are in that ring. So the rematch unification fight, which we never get those in boxing. You guys tell me, how many times have we even gotten a rematch unification fight in boxing? Where 2 guys fought each other at one weight class. They continue to win. They continue to kick ass and take names for years. And then they move up to the next weight class. They both become champions, and then they rematch in the unification fight. How many times has it happened in boxing? When was the last time that even happened in boxing? I can't tell you, so I'm asking you guys, because some of you guys are really, really smart and have great memories. So you guys tell me, because I can't think of a time when it happened. Hand History Vault says, Zotto has shown inconsistency over the years, but recently he has looked great. There's no way in hell Benavidez wins against Zotto in a legit fight. BT, do you think Benavidez could beat Goulamirian? Yeah, 1,000%. I think he could beat Goulamirian and Chris Benoit-Smith. Those guys are both fighters that are going to be right there for him to hit and fight. And they're going to open, and those fighters are going to open up. They're not going to be like Andrade or Vosdick, who are going to try to survive or be cautious with their punch output. No, Goulamirian and Chris Benoit-Smith only know how to fight one way. So you open up against Benavidez, and that's your ass. And I think that'll be the case with them. Bivol could be Bivol versus Benavidez could be tricky, because Bivol is a very tricky fighter, honestly. But I think Bivol, and I don't like picking against Bivol. I almost never do it, but with them having that familiarity from sparring with each other, I think Benavidez has a high IQ. His IQ is underrated. His defense is underrated. He's been proving that in these fights. So right now, I just think Benavidez is at that point in his career where you could say it's his time. I think it's just his time, And as great as Bivol is, listen, Bivol might make me look foolish and then beat Beterbiev and then beat Benavidez. He's that damn good. He's still Dimitri Bivol. Never count him out. But I would say if they fought, I would go Benavidez. BT Fulton. Fulton beat Figueroa with jeans and Timberlands on. Yeah, he did. When I saw his outfit, I knew he was winning. I knew for a fact he was going to beat Figueroa. No doubt in my mind, because you can't put on trunks that look like jean shorts from 2005 and then Timberland boxing shoes on and then lose and get knocked out. No, if he would have got knocked out wearing that outfit, he couldn't go back to Philadelphia tonight or in a day or so. He can't go back to Philly, So I'm glad he won. I'm glad he did his thing. But Benavidez, I think this is a very, very pivotal point in his career. Dave Benavidez took a step in his career where, you know what? Now he's got to be looked at as one of the faces of boxing in America. And now it's okay, Benavidez is a star. This is a star. This is a memorable fight. Anybody who watched this fight, anybody who tuned in, they got their money's worth. And when you're a fighter who's fighting on pay-per-view, or you're just fighting in general, and you're having these fights against notable opposition, and you're delivering time and time again, you're giving the fans the money's worth. And when you give fans the money's worth and you start building value in a fighter, that's when a fighter becomes a star. And I just think now he's a star. He's an absolute star, And I used to critique him all the time, because I used to hate how much he would focus on Canelo. I understood why he was doing it, but I used to hate it, because it's bro, Canelo is not going to fight you. If past history would have told us anything, we knew Canelo was never going to fight Benavidez, right? So I'm glad he finally made this with a light heavyweight, and so far it's been paying off well, and he's been delivering great fights for the fans. I want to talk about Jesus Ramos a little bit because Jesus Ramos did fight on the card. I haven't spoken about Jesus Ramos yet. Ramos, I like Ramos. He's from Arizona, just like Benavidez. No bullshit, no nonsense type of fighter. I thought he got screwed against Eric Salubin, like screwed royally, like terribly wrong. And Ramos, he did this fight tonight with Rosario what I thought he should do, which is beat the brakes off of him. Like, I like Jason Rosario. Like, he used to train in South Florida, so I have a soft spot for Jason Rosario. I know one of his old coaches who's a good friend of mine. But Rosario has been shot since like 2020. When Rosario beat Charlo, not too long after that fight, Rosario went to he went to the Dominican Republic, and he was living his best life. Like, he was living his best life, partying, doing God knows what with God knows who. And, he just didn't live that life of a fighter. And even before he beat Charlo, he was never really the most durable fighter, right? So now he tried to do what all these fighters do. A lot of fighters like this. They do all the wrong things training-wise for years. And then at the end of their career, they go ahead and they try to do everything right. But by the time that's happened, they're not in their physical prime no more. And that's what's happened with Rosario, right? So Ramos did what he's supposed to do. I'm hoping Ramos can get good fights at 54. I would like to see Ramos against Fundura. To me, the fight I want to see for Ramos is either the Lubin rematch, because I think he beat Lubin in the first fight. But I know Lubin has a fight coming up with Adriel Holmes. The fight went to purse bid. And if I'm not mistaken, I think ProBox won the purse bid for that fight. So I would like to see Lubin versus Ramos in the rematch. But if I had it my way, if I was the commissioner of boxing, I could just change anything for. If I could pick the fights, I would go ahead and pick. I would pick Ramos versus Fundura. I think that's an all action fight. Two Mexican Americans. That right there is a StubHub Center fight, and I think it'd be a StubHub Center classic. And I know they don't call it the StubHub Center anymore, but to me, it's still the StubHub Center. So, yeah. Do I think Top Rank will let Leo and Fulton unify? It seems like they want to play Shushu in there for the WC, but I don't see him winning. I actually think from a business standpoint, it would make more sense for them to do a Shushu Fulton fight. Look, I'll be honest with you, I like Shushu. I don't think it'll be Stephen Fulton. I don't think I like Stephen Fulton. I like Shushu a lot. I don't think it'll be Stephen Fulton right now. Shushu has some things he needs to correct. And truth be told, like, I'm not trying to down anybody. Like, I got love for Shushu. I know him in real life. I want to see him win against everybody in the sport except Angelo. But Bruce Carrington, I don't know if he'll ever make the adjustments he needs to make because of the people that coach him. And I got nothing against Kay Karoma, but like Kay Karoma is like an amateur coach, He's really an amateur. Like he teaches the amateur style. A lot of his fighters fight very similar. They all have the same strengths and they all have the same weaknesses. And so there are certain things Shushu needs to correct, but I don't know if he'll be able to correct those things with Kay Karoma as his coach. Shushu might need to actually lose a fight and get a new coach so that he can actually, correct what he needs to smooth out. Because if he doesn't smooth out some certain things in his skill set, whether it's Fulton, whether it's Angelo, whether it's Inoue, whether it's Orbek Komatov, whether it's Midiko Cuello, I think he will probably lose soon, honestly. And to tell you the truth, I think he already lost to Suleiman Tagawa. And he should give him a rematch, but Top Rank's not going to do that because there's no money in that fight, and they're trying to preserve Shushu so when Inoue comes up, Shushu can fight him at the Garden. So that's how I see it. But no, I don't know if Leo. I don't know if they would let Leo go to PBC, but I think PBC would let Fulton go to Top Rank. I actually do. I think there's reason to believe that PBC will let Stephen Fulton go to Top Rank. Maybe not now that he's champion, but based on how they were treating him and talking about him back when I was in Vegas and when I was covering the Belonga fight week when he fought on the prelims, Back then, I would tell you, yeah. Based on what I heard back then, I feel like they would let him go to top rank. I don't think they really care about Stephen Fulton. But maybe now he's got a title, maybe they'll treat it differently. Maybe they'll try to keep him busy and active and not lose to anybody till Inoue comes up and then they can cash him out again, you know? Who knows? BT, does a prime yard beat Benavidez? No, absolutely not. A prime. Well, what fight would you say was prime yard? Would it be Lyndon Arthur 2? Would it be Kovalev? I mean, he has stamina issues. He got too many stamina issues. I think Benavidez would have found a way to exploit that. You know, I'll tell you one thing right now. You fight Dave Benavidez, the one flaw you can't have is stamina. If stamina is a problem for you, you're gonna lose. Straight up. That's like having the best stamina humanly possible. That's a bare minimum requirement for fighting Dave Benavidez, to even just like step in the ring. You know, to even have a semi chance, you need to have the best stamina humanly possible. Benavidez also has stamina issues. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He still puts the numbers together. He still puts punches together in the later rounds quite nicely. I don't think that's really been a problem for him, his stamina. And his punches still have things something on them in the later rounds. I don't think he's got stamina issues. I think if you're gonna say if Benavidez had any sort of issue at light heavyweight, it's maybe he's not as big of a puncher. He faded late against Morrell. I don't think he faded. I think he was just weary of the power. Morrell still had bricks in his hands in the later rounds. That's why he got a knockdown. So I looked at it as more of like him respecting the power, but you know, I guess time will tell. I don't see a guy that has stamina problems. Here's my chance to talk about Raymond Ford. I saw where him and Tank went at it on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, look, and Raymond Ford is actually bigger size-wise than some of the guys Tank's been fighting. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if that fight happens at some point in the future. What time is it in Japan? Right now, it's like 3 in the afternoon. It's 3 in the afternoon, and it's February 2nd. It's not. Japan is 14 hours ahead of USA East Coast time. So yeah, it's afternoon. I still got a whole day. Yeah, about a whole day left, and then I gotta get on this flight and then go back to America. You know, it's kind of bittersweet. Japan has been so good to me, and I've had a great time. I feel like now, though, I am to that point now where I do want to go back to America. It's like I've experienced what I need to experience. I've got my fix of Japan. I'll be back in a year and a half. Funny enough, man, I don't want to get too deep into it, but man, last night I went to Cork and Hall. I went to this boxing show, and one of the big executives from one of the big boxing promotional companies, he tried to press me last night at the fights. That was pretty funny. I laughed at him. BT, this event proved why PBC can put on boxing events. Listen, man, I think this is one of the best boxing cards that's happened in a long time. I know people like to say like Turkey Al Sheik's cards are the greatest cards of all time, but listen, I've watched all those Riyadh season cards, and if you watch the prelims or the early fights of those cards, they weren't as good as like Mirko Cuellar versus Christian Olivio. Like this card was good from the beginning to the very end. There was not one bad fight. You know, the worst fight on the card was probably Jesus Ramos versus Jason Rosario, and that was still a decent fight. Do I think Canelo could beat Benavidez? I think he could if he wasn't so scared. Listen, Canelo Alvarez is a very smart fighter, but at this point in time, I think his best chance would have been in like 2021. That would have been his best chance, 2021. But I think now, if they do fight, like he's really fucked up. Like you allow Benavidez to get all this big fight experience, get all this confidence, really just graduate to another level mentally. Nah, man, not anymore. 2021, sure, pick them. Just pick either one of them. You might be right, but now I would say Benavidez. I would favor him. I'll make Benavidez an easy 60-40 favorite. How close do you think Cuellar's fight was? One judge had it 7 rounds to 2. I thought Olivio was winning, but not that much. I thought Olivio was winning. I thought Olivio was winning by like 2 or 3 rounds. I definitely thought that if the fight went to the cards, that he was he deserved the win. And to Quayle's credit, Quayle after the knockdown, he started going to the body. He started making those investments a lot. And my only problem with Quayle was like Quayle, he kept pulling straight back. That's a big problem he has. He would go, he would land, one or two punches, and then he would pull straight back out. And then that would put him right in the line of fire for Olivio to land something big. And he kept landing big shots. So it felt like every time Quayle had some moments, Olivio had the elixir. He had the answer to whatever question was asked of him. So really and truthfully, I think he produced a moment of magic, to be honest with you, because he needed a knockout and he got it. So that actually shows the dog that Quayle does have, and I still stand by what I say about him. I feel like if he cleans his defense up a lot more, he has the punch selection, he has the power, he has the grit, the dog. He's got a lot of qualities that I think would make him a problem for any featherweight in the division, including Angelo Leo, who you guys know I rate as the #1 featherweight in the world because I know how good he is. But even him. But that's provided that he cleans up his defense. BT, you have hot takes tonight. What hot takes? What hot takes do I have? I just call them the real takes, the true takes, the takes that nobody in boxing media, that people in boxing media don't have because they either don't know or they get too scared to speak. But I don't know what hot takes specifically. Canelo isn't going to fight Benavidez from what we know. Canelo has 2 fights left. Yeah, he's not going to fight. He's not fighting Benavidez. He'll fight William Skull. He'll fight Terrence Crawford, and he'll dip. That's what I think. That's how I think it goes for him. And he'll win both those fights too. He'll beat William Skull to become two-time undisputed, and then he'll beat Crawford in the retirement, and then sail into the sunset. Yeah, he should have took care of him early. David's work rate will give Nello hell, but you got to remember Nello is a great counterpuncher and got an A1 shield, plus the judges will pay for him for sure. I agree with that, but like, when have we ever seen Canelo get a decision in a fight where a fighter was throwing as many punches as Benavidez will? I can't think of one. I mean, Golovkin throws punches, but like not at the volume that Benavidez does. So I don't know, man. I think, especially like, another thing too you got to consider is even though Canelo is the biggest money-making attraction in the sport, remember, he's on the way out. In the business of boxing, always looks out for the best interest of the business of boxing. So Benavidez is starting to sell tickets. He's starting to become somewhat of a standalone star. That could play a role into Benavidez even getting a decision in a close fight against Canelo. Don't be surprised if that's the case. Why does Canelo beat William Skull? Oh my God, are you serious? He beats William Skull 1 because William Skull has piss poor stamina. William Skull is susceptible to counter punches. William Skull is the most beatable champion in boxing. William Skull might be in my opinion, I think out of all 18 weight classes, William Skull is the weakest and most beatable champion in boxing. I'll tell you this though, William Skull, Edgar Berlanga, no, that's a fight. That's a competitive fight. What up, Ghosts? A lot of people in the chat were asking about what you were about for you. They were saying, "Where's Ghost at? He was picking Morrell." I thought Morrell performed well. I'm not gonna down Morrell. He did his thing. I think he needs more experience. His best boxer is still in front of him. Ghost says, BT, matter of fact, you can do the whole exposure to that's what you came for, Ghost? That's what you came for? I'll give it to you because I'm in the park. I'm in the park, so I can be a little belligerent here in this park. Because in Japan they about peace and harmony and tranquility. You can't disturb the order of Japanese society. So hold on. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you what you want. All right? I'm gonna give you what you want. Hold on. David Morrell. Exposed by David Benavidez. There you go. Ghost says, hey, when have you seen your monster lose the back end and be hurt in the back end though? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like not all losses are created equal in boxing. So Morrell lost, but like I said earlier in the live, there's plenty of building blocks there for David Morrell. He showed that he was dangerous late in the fight to the point where Morrell still had to, or Benavidez still had to be weary of his power. He had to be weary of his power, and look, Morrell can become champion again. This could, in about a year or two, maybe this could still be a rematch. His story is not done. I don't sell fighters out because they lost a fight or, you know. But I'll say this, man. One thing I do want to say, because now it's just coming back to my memory. During the fights, during the build up to the fight, like Louis Takuba's senior, and a lot of people in the Morrell camp were like, yeah, and even Morrell himself, it's like, yeah, growing up in Cuba, it's like a different mentality. Cuba is a different mentality, so he didn't grow up in what I grew up in, so it's just a different mentality. And it's like, man, I'm tired of people doubting American fighters, bro. I'm tired of the devaluation of American fighters. Like, just because we don't have third world poverty doesn't mean that American fighters don't go through things too. And truth be told, and I tell my dad this all the time, and this might really be a hot take. In my opinion, I don't think it matters where somebody comes from. I feel like it's all about what's inside here. What kind of dog do you have in you, right? Now, obviously, if you come from rough circumstances, then that could be a big reason as to why you have a certain chip on your shoulder or have a lot of fight within you. Growing up in tough circumstances can inspire a fighter to fight harder in the later rounds. But my thing is, like, sometimes people get too carried away of like that, like your upbringing doesn't have anything to do with your ability to counter punch, slip a jab, defend a hook. Those are things you learn in the gym and perfect over time, and that's just down to you being a professional. And you could be a middle class person and be in that gym and be a professional. You could be somebody from the ghetto and be in the gym and be professional. You can be someone that comes from a affluent, rich background, but go ahead and be professional and still learn what you got to learn in the gym. So, yeah, man, stop disrespecting the American fighters with all this, like, oh, we came from Cuba stuff. Like, it helps to a degree, but it doesn't mean that you're tougher than someone just because you came from a certain background. Because I know plenty of cowards who came from the hood, straight up. Wayne 88 says a Chinese man is about to pop out and say, "Shh, yeah, mom." That's what I'm saying. I can't be too loud, because people in Japan at times already look at me crazy because I'm gaijin. For those of you that don't know what gaijin is the Japanese word for foreigner. So I'm already a foreigner. So I gotta be my best behavior, because a lot of the Americans that come to Japan, they just be on that bullshit. They've been making Americans look bad, but we're not all crazy. We're not all bad people from America. Shout out to Lance Meyer. Good to see you, champ. Was I surprised by Morrell's game plan? No, nothing really surprised me. I thought Morrell came out looking to land big shots on Benavidez early, and then, like, Benavidez stood up to the power, and then, he was dangerous the whole fight, but I just knew Benavidez was going to do enough to win. I think Morrell needed a little more experience, but I'm not mad. I commend him for taking the fight. I'd rather see the fight than not see the fight. So, Mark says that he knew that Stephen Fulton was better than what he showed with Castro. He had a long layout coming off a loss, also chipping his shoulder from the disrespect that he was looking for the KO. Yeah, he was. He was looking for a big performance in this fight, and he got it. I'm happy for him. BT, you have reported this. When Benavidez tried to leave Sampson to top rank and Sampson struck and stopped fights because he was marinating them, where was this dog inside Benavidez? That's the point. I agree with that. That was the thing. For those that don't know what Ghost is referring to, early in Benavidez's career, Benavidez actually signed a deal with Top Rank. He signed a deal with Top Rank. He was trying to fight Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, but then Sampson made a call to Top Rank and told Top Rank he was still under contract, even though he had signed a contract with them. And then he got out of that contract with Top Rank, and then, that's what it was. So basically the point that Ghost is trying to make is that, like, Benavidez didn't take no tough fights like this early in his career. Morrell is, so you can't down Morrell, and I'm not. So I hear your point, and I'm with you on that. It was 7-5 at best. Could have been 6-6 if they didn't take the point. We will get this one back in blood. We know where Morrell went wrong. Remember, this is 12 fights. Wait till 20. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Morrell responds, man. Because like I said, you judge a fighter and you judge a person in life when things don't go their way, and things don't go the way, didn't go the way they should have for Morrell. So adversity introduces the man to himself, as the great quote says, and now we get to see how great is David Morrell. We saw how great Stephen Fulton was. Why? Because Stephen Fulton lost, right? Stephen Fulton lost in a way. He had a less than stellar performance against Castro for his standard, and he came back and he showed how great he was against Figueroa in the rematch. So losses and bad performances, these give fighters the ultimate chance to prove themselves. Shushu might get Fulton before Angelo Leo, but I got Fulton over Shushu right now. Listen, man, I like Shushu. I like Fulton and I like Shushu, so I would actually be torn on that one as far as who I want to win, because I like them both as people, and I've had a chance to interact with them both. But if we're just in terms of boxing, I think Shushu has some things he has to correct, and I don't know if what he needs to correct will ever get corrected with the coach he currently has. You know, who I have nothing against. I just think that, you know, when you go to the professionals and you get this high level of the professionals, you need a professional trainer that knows how to fight different styles and doesn't just have all his fighters fight in the same way. And K. Karoma just has all his fighters fight the same damn way, like in the pros. So there's just things with Shushu he hasn't corrected yet, and those things got really exposed badly when he fought Sagawa, and that's why I think Top Rank is being so careful with their matchmaking. If you look at the two fights that Top Rank has made for Shushu since the Sagawa fight, he fought that Australian dude on the Mike Tyson card, and then now he's fighting some I think Vivas is his name. Yeah, Vivas. Yeah, like they're matching him very careful, because they know what styles can beat him, and they almost got it wrong with Sagawa. They almost so they know to be extra careful. Hockey wants to know, BT, is there any pre-agreement with Japan's gyms boxers for your 2026 Japan trip? As far as Japan 2026, so I'm targeting my next trip to Japan to be in the middle of next year. So I'm thinking June or July of 2026, I'll come back. As far as agreements with other gyms, I mean, the gyms that I'm already cool with, such as Misako Boxing Gym, Watanabe Boxing Gym, what else? Just any gym you guys have seen me in this trip or the last, I pretty much have the reins to go there when I come back, because I have good relationships with those fighters from those gyms and those managers from those gyms. As far as Ohashi and Tekken Promotions, you know, much love to them, much respect. I don't think that's gonna happen with those two gyms, because they're very, very strict. But anybody else, you know, I'm pretty good with. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Japan 2026. I feel like now with a combined 4 months of Japan, with last year's trip and now this year's trip, I think now I'm fully. That third trip is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be insane. Pops. My dad will probably be with me for the second trip, for the next Japan trip. So y'all can start the countdown to June and July of 2026. It'll be somewhere around that time. I'll be back here. So, and the good thing is, we're still gonna cover Japanese boxing. We're still gonna make a lot of videos about Japanese boxing. The channel is gonna be like 10 times bigger by the time I come back to Japan again. So I think it's gonna be a special time. Go says, you look like the yo-yo early on, BT. He got some work to do, especially setups and frames. I got him sleeping Hamza in size 7. You talking about Morrell? I think Morrell, if you're talking about Morrell versus Hamza, I think Morrell beat the brakes off Hamza. Hamza Shiraz is going to get knocked the hell out when he moves up. Good fighter, good fundamentals, but he'll get knocked out at some point. Too tall. And sometimes he doesn't always use his range like the way he should. What do I think about Cuello versus Shushu? I think it's a perfect matchup. Oh my God, I love that fight. I'll tell you what, man. We always get new information with fighters as they have their fights. That's why they fight the fights, so we can learn more about them. From what I've seen from Cuello tonight, his defense is leaky at times. If Shushu could get him in the mid-range, I think Shushu could have a chance. I'd still favor Cuello though, but I'd say it's a good fight. It's a really good fight. Zim Millie says, hey BT, how is the food out there? Did it take a long time to get adjusted? food here is amazing. That's the main thing I'm gonna miss in Japan is the food. I'm gonna miss Japanese food, and I'm gonna miss the convenience stores. They got the best convenience stores in the world here. Like 7-Eleven in Japan is like 500 levels above 7-Eleven in America. It's ridiculous. It's like it's not even funny. You can go to 7-Eleven at midnight in Japan and get salmon, fresh salmon or fish, and you can have the fish heated up for you in the microwave. They after you pay for it, they heat it up for you in the store right there. So, do I speak Japanese? No, I don't. I know like 10 words of Japanese, so I know enough to get me by, but I'm gonna practice. I got 18 months to get my shit in order, so I'll do that. Oh, he's talking about Yoannis Hernandez. Oh yeah, he's very good. He's very good, man. I didn't get a chance to watch this fight, but I heard he got a stop. I believe he got a stoppage, so good for him. I like Yoannis Hernandez. He's probably gonna win a world title within 10 fights or less. Cause he's got like what 7 fights. He's already WBA #1. Yeah, he probably wins a world title here really soon. I don't know if PBC will do him versus Lara, but that'd be cool. Cuban versus Cuban, passing of the torch. Why do you think Sugar Hill fighters keep on losing? What happens to the Kronk style or the trunk still? I think he means Kronk style. Which fighters are you referring to? Who fought tonight that was a Sugar Hill fighter that lost? Am I missing somebody? Yoannis Hernandez's next fight is for the WBA regular title. Okay, good for him. Who has the regular belt at 160? I'm blanking out. Who's the 160-pound regular champion? Kronk style, die with Emmanuel. This new shit is not like the old. Damn. It had a look. Come on, Goals. That's not fair. It had a minor resurgence with Tyson Fury for those two or three. Yeah, those like 2 or 3 Tyson Fury fights. I feel like with Sugar Hill, I mean, I think because one of his fighters is Vladimir Shishkin. I thought Vladimir Shishkin actually beat William Skull, but it was in William Skull's promoter's hometown, so I thought he got screwed in the fight. But I just think, like the difference in my opinion, the difference between the Kronk style that Emmanuel taught and what Sugar Hill teaches is I think that Emmanuel actually had the right balance of setting up power punches and setting up your actual like just boxing skills. With Sugar Hill, it's just all about power. So if power don't work, they lose. You know. Now he says, "What happened? I thought he was good." He's still a good coach. He's a fantastic coach. Listen, man. Every trainer in boxing goes through phases where they win and they lose. All the greatest trainers in the sport, they go through periods of time where they win a lot of fights and they lose a lot of fights. So, you know, he's probably going through a bit of a down period right now. In a year or so, maybe he go through a up period. It's like look at Bomac, right? Bomac's a great trainer. Bomac is a guy that people consider a great coach. You know, Steve Nelson just lost. You know, Crawford about to lose when he fight Canelo, but he can still come back and win some fights. You know, who knows? Keyshawn, listen, I think Keyshawn Davis will beat Baranchik, but you don't know. Trainers go through periods of time where they lose and they win. So I don't put too much stock into it. We know Sugar Hill's a fantastic coach. BT and Emmanuel was just smarter. He taught frames, pins, how to turn, break down. He was producing complete fighters. Sugar, yeah, that's fair enough. I don't think Sugar Hill's churned out like a complete fighter. He's had some good knockout punches. Like he had Adonis Stevenson. He had he did revive Tyson Fury. Anthony Durrell had a good run. You know, Vladimir Shishkin wasn't no otherworldly talent, and he wasn't supposed to get as far as he's gotten. He got him to the world title level, and he probably should have won the world title, but they didn't give it to him. So I think he's a good coach. I think people overreact to things. What up, Memorial? Nathan, good to see you, champ. Man, Morrell taught all that shit to win 2 rounds, just 2 freaking rounds. He got a knockdown. You know, I hear you, but he got a knockdown. He was still dangerous for 12 rounds. He needs more experience. AKH Boxer says he didn't get a chance to watch Pitbull. Was the fight a robbery? No, it wasn't a robbery. I think Pitbull won, but it was a tough fight. It was tougher than it should have been for him. You know, they brought Angel Fierro there to the dance to get knocked out so that they can spin this narrative that he's the Mexican Mike Tyson. Ghost says, I think the monster should get exposed too, because how are you the monster and lose the back end and get dropped? Exposed. We'll take the 0 next time if he don't get Archer next. Okay. I mean, I hear you. He lost the back half of the fight. He got dropped in the back half. So look, I mean, he won, and I think I'm encouraged by what I saw from Benavidez. But you know what, Ghost? Just for you, man. Just for you. You know, Benavidez. Kind of exposed by Dave Morrell Jr. Let's go. At the park in Japan, yelling exposed. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Cruz versus Angel was the best fight on the card. Yeah, that was a great fight. It was a great Mexican fight. That's what I'm saying, man. This card, I feel like. This card, and I was just telling Hyro this on the phone before I hopped on this live. This card had something for everyone. You know, if you're into like Mexican style fighting, they had that fight. If you're into like the featherweight division, they had Miko Cuello versus Olivio. If you're like a real hardcore boxing fan, they had Fulton Figueroa. If you wanted to see one of the top stars, two of the top young fighters in boxing go at it, they had Benavidez versus Morrell. This card has something for everyone, straight up. I really think it was one of the best cards I've seen in a long time, you know? Damn, Ghost. He said Mexican style went 1 for 4 tonight. Mexican style exposed. Damn. Better watch out, Ghost. They gonna come for you. Figueroa looked like he didn't even try to fight, to be honest. I'm suspicious about that. No, man. Listen, it's not that Figueroa didn't try to fight. It's that Brandon Figueroa is who I always told you guys he was. He's a fighter that relies on his size and volume. And a lot of people, and even me up until about maybe like a week before the fight, when I really got into my film study, like a lot of people thought that the fact that they were fighting at a bigger weight was gonna only benefit Figueroa, and they didn't factor in that how the weight could positively impact Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton was able to retain more of his energy. He was a little stronger, you know, and it showed. It showed how sharp his punches were, how crisp his punches were. And Brandon Figueroa just thought that he was going to size and volume his way to a demolition job against Stephen Fulton. And no, Stephen Fulton is still a top upper echelon fighter. And y'all found out the hard way that you guys need to stop falling for the hype. Y'all need to stop overreacting. And you need to go ahead and you need to learn how to break down some film, straight up, you know? So I'm happy for Stephen Fulton. He's a great fighter. And he showed it tonight. My only concern for Stephen Fulton was his mental. He has some mental health stuff going on. He's a better fighter and prove more. Well, the thing is, one thing I know about Stephen Fulton, even though I know he may have some things going on in his life, is he's one of those fighters. He just thrives off negativity. He loves negativity. Like, he will fight better. Like, if he would have fought Figueroa tonight and he was the favorite, I would have been like worried, because as the favorite, he might underperform. But, you know, for people to just talk down on him and throw dirt on his name, say that he's a bum, that he sucks, this, that, and that, I already knew we were going to get like a different type of Stephen Fulton. You know, the Stephen Fulton that I thought should have been on the pound list before he fought NOA. We were going to get that guy, and that's what we got. That's what I'm saying. Like, losing to an all-time great like NOA doesn't mean you're not elite, you know? So, and by the way, I mean, I think NOA will probably beat them if they fought again, but who's to say that the fight wouldn't be any different at featherweight? Maybe Stephen Fulton makes some adjustments in the rematch if they fight at featherweight. You know, don't write him off. If Stephen Fulton showed you this much thus far in his career, don't write him off. Ecstasy says the unification rematch BT. I'm really excited for the deal being finalized next year or soon. Oh man, I'm not trying to look too far ahead, because we gotta take care of Tomoe Kameda here in Japan. Angel has to take care of Kameda here in Japan, and so I want to give Kameda his respect. I'm very big on focusing on the fight in front of you. You know, Kameda is a former world champion, and it's very hard to beat Japanese fighters on Japanese soil. I know how hard it is, and yeah, he has to make a statement in that fight to the rest of the division. But provided that he handles his business like he should, yeah, I know for a fact. Right now, I know for a fact. I haven't talked to Angelo a whole lot since the Fulton fight concluded today, but I guarantee when I talk to him, him and his dad are going to be telling me about how much they want that fight, because that's a fight we talk about all the time, is the Fulton rematch. And it's a much different fight in the rematch. Much, much different. BT, you know after this, he'll be the favorite against Leo. We get in that one back in blood. Leo by KO inside 7. Yeah, it's a different type of fight. Different type of fight. I pray that the odds makers make Angel like a plus 300 or something like that, so I can cash out. I'm about to cash out if they make it. Just give me those Venado odds again in this Fulton fight, and then so Angelo could cash, so I could cash out on Angelo, because beating Brandon Figueroa was one thing, and I give him respect. I know he would beat Brandon, but listen, Angelo Leo is a much better fighter than Brandon Figueroa. You know, he's actually a 2-division champion, not a they gave you the belt 2-division champion. No, an actual 2-division champion. You know, a guy with one punch knockout power who can pick his shots, fight you in angles, fight out of the high guard, fight out of the regular guard, fight out of the Philly shell, counter out the Philly shell. I mean, the most versatile talent in the division is Angelo Leo, and y'all gonna find out if they fight. Do you think Japan is going to get the KO from this Mexican #1 mandatory? Or are you talking about Sugar Nunez? Talking about Sugar Nunez versus Masanori Rikishi? It's a good fight. I like that fight a lot. If they do fight Sugar Nunez and Rikishi, I think Sugar Nunez beat the brakes off Masanori Rikishi. If that's the fight you're referring to. Rikishi's a good fighter, has a lot of guts, a lot of skills out of the southpaw stance, but that boy Sugar Nunez is not there to be played with, and he gonna find out. Fig tried to jab to stomach at the start, but he's not in a way. Yeah, well, that's why I was like, when I saw Brandon Figueroa come out there and try to box, I said, oh man, you're gonna get lit up, because that was gonna get Fulton in a rhythm. That was gonna give Fulton some early confidence that he needed, and then he was gonna get into rhythm and just wash him. The minute I saw Figueroa come out and try to box Fulton, I said, he's done. Stupid game plan. For him, for the skill set that Brandon has, you don't go in there and try to box Fulton. Now, if he was like Angelo, Angelo can actually box. You know, he has a jab, he can move. You know, that could maybe work, but for a round or two. But like, Brandon don't got a jab like that. Brandon paused with his jab. Brandon, you know, nah, man, bad game plan, bad preparation from his team, not understanding the styles. Like, do they want to come out and prove a point? Like, no. Do what got you to the dance. They didn't even try to do what got them to this point, and that's why they got lit up and exposed. How do I see Tia versus Hitchens? Good fight, man. I got Hitchens in that fight. I like Tia. I like to see Tia win, because you know, even though he don't like to represent, even though he doesn't represent us like he should, he is a South Florida kid, a product of the South Florida boxing scene. So I want to see him do well, but Hitchens has one of the best jabs in the business. I think Hitchens would offset a lot of things Tia likes to do. Tia would constantly reset, and then God forbid if Hitchens gets that straight right hand going, Tia gonna get freaking schooled. They fight. I'll bet on it too. Like, that's a bad fight for Tia. Talkers has Nunez too, but I'll be ready for Rikishi. Listen, I like Masanori Rikishi. He's very brave and he's very game, and I'm sure he's gonna come and give it his best. It's just that you know, like, he's like a lot of Japanese fighters. A lot of Japanese fighters have this problem with keeping the head right there on the center line to get hit. And this is not a guy that you need to be having your head on the center line to get hit against. This guy, Nunez, has bricks in both of his hands, and he will punch through the target. So if Rikishi can win this fight, then wow, we really are in the Japanese boxing golden age. Because I can't think of a fight of late in a world title fight where a Japanese fighter, I would look at it as like, out of 100%, I would say I give what's his name? I give Rikishi a 35% chance of winning, and I give 65 to Sugar Nunez. Did Figueroa win a round? I gave Figueroa 2 rounds. I thought he won 1 round clearly towards the back end of the fight, and then I think I gave him like a swing round. There was a swing round that I gave to him. So yeah, on my card, no more than 2 rounds. Big Supreme says I think Rikishi can win. He can win. He can win only if he cleans his defense up. He can't have a fight like he had against Michael Magnesi, the Italian guy. He can't have that kind of fight. If he has anything that resembles that kind of fight, he's getting knocked out within 7 rounds. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that straight away. I'm telling you right now, and it's not even a question in my head. And, but I wish him the best. I like my. At this point, I've spent in the last 2023, 2024, and 2025. That's like what? That's 3 calendar years, right? That's 3 calendar years. I've spent combined 4.5 months out of 36 months of my life in Japan over the last 3 years. So with that being said, I'm like part Japanese. I know I'm always in the eyes of the Japanese, I'm always gaijin, but I consider myself like 0.00005% Japanese. So I always want the Japanese fighters to do well. I have a soft spot for Japanese boxing, but I'm just being honest. I think Masanori Rikishi is probably gonna get the brakes beaten off of him if he fights Sugar Nunez. But he's got good length. It's just that his punch selection is very how do I say? It's like very predictable, like very mechanical, like a lot of Japanese southpaws. I thought you was Filipino, not gonna lie. Nobody knows what I actually am. Nobody I've heard people say I'm Filipino, Indian, black, white. I don't know why anybody would think I'm white. I've heard Mexican. I've heard every Latin country under the sun. It's funny. Fulton versus Hayato Sutsumi a good fight? Well, they're in different weight classes, so that fight's not gonna happen. But would have been a good matchup though. They were both at featherweight. How does that as that super featherweight? BT Ring Magazine doesn't have Benavidez in the top 10, but they have guys like Willie Hutchinson. How would David versus? Oh man. Hutchinson, Willie Hutchinson versus Benavidez. Hutchinson is a good little fighter, but not Benavidez beat the shit out of him. Five rounds or less. Five rounds or less. I can see the black in you. Say the N word real quick. I'm not gonna say that. I'll say it amongst my friends, but I ain't gonna say it here. We don't gotta say that word here because people get all up in arms. They'll say you're not black. You can't say that word. But straight up, anybody who grew up in urban areas in South Florida, everyone says that word. My dad's Puerto Rican. My dad's Puerto Rican. My mom's side is Dominican and Cuban. So those like the 3 blackest countries in the Caribbean. It's pretty damn black. That's 3 pretty damn black ass countries. If you want to keep it a spade. Where are you at that is day right now? I'm in Japan, Tokyo, Japan. It's like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, something like that. My man James Lindsay says, Lindsay says, I got Clarissa Shields knocking Danielle Perkins out tomorrow. What do you think? I haven't really thought too deeply about that fight, but I'm not gonna go against Clarissa Shields. She's the best women's fighter in history, and I've seen Danielle Perkins fight. She's a strong fighter, good little fighter, but nah, I'll go Clarissa. The GOAT, what is she gonna be like? Four-time undisputed champion? I think at women's heavyweight, there's only like 20 fighters or something like that in the whole weight class. But shout out to the GOAT, man. Shout out to Clarissa. I'm proud of Clarissa. I don't know her like I used to, but me and Clarissa are pretty cool. Like 9 years ago, back in 2016, right before she turned pro, I used to see her all around South Florida, at Fifth Street Gym, Saw her at the WBC convention. We used to talk on Instagram sometimes as friends and stuff. She's a good person. Good people. I like her. I've always rooted for her. I'm happy to see all the success she's achieved in her career. But yeah, I think she should be Danielle Perkins, no doubt. He said, "Yeah, that's pretty black. I'll give you a pat." Yeah, man. I don't say that word on YouTube because people get offended and they bring negative energy. But I'm from South Florida. I'm from Broward County, so everyone grew up saying that word. Everyone. Who do I got if Adam Azim and Dalton Smith fight? That's a good question. I haven't had a chance to really like break that fight down, film study wise, but I would say off like just what I know. I think if they fight like right now, I would probably lean slightly towards Dalton Smith, but like you let Adam Azim get like a fight or two more, I'll go Adam. Adam Azim's good reflex fighter. Good reflex fighter, classy box from the outside. Still think he needs a little bit more experience, but I mean, listen, man, Dalton Smith, he's not like a top fighter. He's a good fighter. He's a contender, but listen, Adam could probably beat him and fight him next and beat him. How do I see Tito Mercado versus? That's a good question. I think Tito Mercado versus Adam Azim would be a modern day classic. I think y'all want to talk about some fights. Y'all want to talk about fights that I think would be great. Would be a dynamite fight for boxing. I think Mercado versus Adam Azim would be a freaking barn burner. That one, I think, could go either way. But Mercado versus Dalton Smith, I think Mercado would stop Dalton Smith if they fought. Azim, I think, is a closer fight just because I think reflex-wise and power-wise and just from the outside, I think his style meshes really well with Mercado. Good fight, though. Shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT. Rocking with y'all at the park here in Sumida City, Tokyo, Japan. Yes, sir. The friendly confines of Sumida City, Tokyo, Japan. The last live in Japan until I get back to America. I'll be back in America in less than 72 hours. Can't believe it. Can't believe the Japan trip. It just came in. It just came and it just went. I spent Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's in Japan, and now back to America where so many great things await us. So. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all the Japanese content. I still have like 4 or 5 Japanese interviews I never even posted yet, which I'll probably be driving once I get to America. So definitely hope you guys enjoyed that. So many beautiful and wonderful and massive things in store for the untouchable True School Sports empire. Best believe 2025 is going to be the year of True School because we're in the True School era. Afro Jam says, is Angel Fierro now a name at 140? I think so. I think he went in there. He had a very entertaining fight with the name in Pitbull Cruz. So yeah, his stock is up. Not all losses are bad losses. Not all losses are created equal. So he should get more opportunities coming off of this. I want to see him and Pitbull run it back. Shit was exciting. March 1st, you will see the best 140 pounder in the world. Gary Anton Russell is going to get his belt and unify with Puyo. Okay. Shout out to Gary Anton Russell. I don't know if I agree with the whole best 140 in the world, but he's very good, I think Tito Mercado will beat him. I'll tell you that. You asked me about Mercado. I think Mercado could beat Gary. Cruz versus the winner of Duarte and Prograis. Yeah, that's good. Like I don't look at Esau Cruz as no top tier upper echelon fighter, but you match him against some good TV friendly fighters like that, then now we're talking. Cruz versus Duarte, Cruz versus Prograis. Those are fun fights. Those are fights I could talk some good things about Esau Cruz, but he don't want to fight nobody that can box and move because he says, do you? What was that punk ass shit he said to Marcos Villegas? He said, do you want to see a good fight or do you want to see a runner? Sound crazy. Talking some straight bullshit. Do you want to see a good fight or do you want to see a runner around the ring? Like, be quiet, Pitbull. BT, Charles Conwell versus Ramos. That's a dynamite fight. I love to see Conwell get his opportunity against anybody. Ramos and Conwell are two blue-collar fighters that have to earn everything they get in boxing. So if I got to pick somebody in that fight, I think Conwell is the more dynamic puncher in that fight. And he's got the work rate to offset some of what Ramos does. So I would lean Conwell. I would lean for Conwell in that kind of fight if it ever got made. BT, forget that. Ooh, now that's a fight. Ooh, Conwell versus Boachuk. That's a good fight. That's a damn near pick 'em. I think the more explosive puncher in that fight would be Conwell, but the guy with the better stamina and work rate would definitely be Boachuk. So that's a pick 'em. I'll probably lean towards Boachuk in that fight, but that one could go either way. I like that fight. What about Conwell versus Brandon Adams? That'd be a good fight. Esau Cruz is a solid C-level fighter. He should consider learning how to throw a jab, no skill. Well, no, he doesn't. Listen, he's not going to ever learn how to throw a jab because he's not encouraged to throw a jab because he's already become a seven-figure fighter pretty much, six-figure, seven-figure fighter, not throwing a jab. He's encouraged to just be an all-action Mexican fighter, so he don't got to throw a jab. And he actually gets enabled to not fight fighters who can throw jabs because he makes money. And he brings eyeballs and people like him and he can start spewing that bullshit off of like, do you guys want to see a good fight? Or do you want to see a runner? All that bullshit he'd be talking. BT, give me Isaac versus Matias in Puerto Rico, please. Yeah, man, listen. The minute, this is what I'm saying about boxing. The minute those two touch the title, boxing should have been trying to make them two unify. We should have got the all-action Mexico-Puerto Rico fight and unification fight. That would have just shot both those guys' values through the roof. But no, boxing's gonna boxing. They're gonna do what they want to do, not listen to the ones that know. Conwell versus the guy that just beat Brandon is a better fight. I forgot his name. The guy from Greece, Andres Kostauskis, whatever the hell his name is. I don't remember what his name was, but the guy from Greece. I never got around to even watching that fight. Everyone says that Brandon Adams a lot of people say Brandon Adams got robbed in that fight. Some people say he lost fair and square. Some people say he got robbed. I gotta watch. I still never got around to watching it because I've just been busy here in Japan and whatnot. And yeah, him. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's 4:34. Okay. My bad. I dropped my phone. Did you enjoy the Pitbull fight? Did both fighters come forward? No, like it was a very entertaining fight. I enjoy watching Pitbull fight. I just don't enjoy when he starts talking all that runner. This guy's a runner talk. I don't like that kind of talk in boxing. How are we seeing Caleb Plant versus Dan Morrell? I got Morrell stopping Plant inside 6. He just showed y'all he's faster than Benavidez. Plant will get left unconscious. I don't think. I mean, look, Caleb Plant has shown he'll fight anybody, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe now Morrell's a bit. I think Morrell fighting Benavidez and dropping him. Morrell has to be a big enough name now to entice Caleb Plant to take that fight. If they fought, I would go with Morrell. I will go with Morrell just because I think Caleb's been through some wars. But what I can say, though, is Caleb Plant showed in his last fight against McCumbee that he can fight on the inside. So that might be and I would think that whenever he fights next, that skill will be improved upon. So might even be a close fight than people think, but I would say Morrell. I would lean towards more Dave Morrell Jr. It was a great fight. It was close. Adams outlanded him, but it was on the back foot. Cat's physical strength is up. Okay, I'll have to watch it. He ain't going back to 168. This is a pointless combo. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. But I'm just reading comments. I'm just reading the comments, man. We're here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. The immediate reaction of Benavidez, Morrell, and all things that pertain to the card. Smash the like button, subscribe. Before this live started, I was like 20 subscribers away from 85K. Yes, you heard that correctly, 85K. The road to 100,000 subscribers continues, So I'm trying to just like chip away at that 100,000 mark. BT Morrell can make 168 right now. His plan was always to return to 168. Don't be Hyro. He don't know shit like always. Oh, no, Hyro. Hyro was talking that bullshit again. I thought Benavidez was going to win the fight. I just thought, like, Benavidez is getting too much experience at this point. Now, if these two would have fought, like, maybe like a year ago, I think it would have been a closer fight. But I think Benavidez fighting a guy like Andrade helped him out a lot, because Andrade's a very crafty, slick, skillful boxer. Obviously, Andrade don't punch hard at 168 like Morrell does, but it's kind of like similar look, Helped them out. BT, can you talk about Promotional? He KO'd another bomb today. He's following the tank blueprint. First of all, I'm not gonna call anybody who steps into the ring a bum, so I'm not gonna address that part. But he's 7-0. Like, what do you want from him? He's 7-0. Who the hell is Promotional supposed to be fighting at 7-0? These guys don't be fighting nobody at seven fights. Who the hell who is Crawford or Benavidez fighting at 7 fights? Unless you're like one of these top amateurs, you don't fight nobody if you're 7-0, or unless you're here in Japan where they put you in tournaments where they match you with guys who are around your level. You don't fight nobody 7-0 in the pros. You don't fight nobody like that good in your 7th fight in the pros. It doesn't work like that. Now, if Carmel don't start stepping it up, like let's say like 4 or 5 fights from now, then I'm gonna start talking. But right now, we're not at a stage of his career where you can start criticizing the matchmaking. I don't think so. I don't think he is. I want to see Carmel Moen versus Amado Vargas or Emiliano. That'd be fun. It'd be fun. Amado's a fun fighter to watch. I've seen Amado spar a lot. I'm a big fan. Believe it or not, I'm a big fan of Amado Vargas. Not even because of his fights. I've seen him spar a lot at Bones Adams Boxing Gym. And I guess whenever I go, he just has a good day. Because I've actually never seen Amado Vargas have a bad day in sparring. Damn, Japan gets down like that. Respect. They do. Oh, my God. Because you know what it is? The boxing in Japan is very organized. I mean, Japan is a very organized country. I mean, look, just to show you guys how organized Japan is. Like, look, I'm at the park, right? Now, like in America, now don't mind this. This is me. This is my stuff right here. So this isn't anybody else's stuff but mine. But like, you see how clean this park is? You go to almost any park in Japan, any street in Japan, you're gonna see cleanliness. You're gonna see organization. You're gonna see some damn order. And it's the same thing when it comes to the boxing. The Japanese Box Commission is very much in order and organized. So fighters here are very active. They fight a lot, and they have tournaments. They have tournaments here in Japan. So the 2 big tournaments they have in Japan every year for prospects or like regional champions. They have the Rookie of the Year tournament, which is like for fighters that are like, I think 7-0 or less, and they get matched up they have the regional Rookie of the Year tournament. So you have like the East Japan Rookie of the Year, you'll have the West Japan Rookie of the Year, and it's for all the different like cities in Japan, right? And then you have the National Japan Rookie of the Year tournament, and these are all sanctioned pro fights. So you get like you have to go through these tournaments, right? A lot of cases. So you have that Rookie of the Year tournament, and then you have the Champions Carnival, which is like basically it's a tournament where all the regional champions, all the Japanese champions, gotta fight the Japanese championship #1 contenders, and that's why if you look at a lot of Japanese fighters when they get to world level, they might have a loss or 2 losses or even 3 or 4, however much it may be, because they don't get the luxury of just like picking 15 cans. No, you're gonna fight someone if you come to the Japan system. I love Sugar Nunez. Punisher, he asked what I think about Sugar Nunez. I love Sugar Nunez. I think he's a devastating puncher. I feel like he's the Mexican fighter that needs more investment. You know, I always see Mexican fighters get investment in boxing, but this is the one Mexican fighter that I feel like is not getting enough investment. He should be one of the most high, like all this like hype and marketing that they put behind like guys like Esau Cruz, man. Sugar Nunez should have some of that for himself. Sugar Nunez he's must-see TV. He's a big power puncher. He's got some skills. I like him a lot. I feel like he does a great job representing that flag for Mexico, Mexican boxing. I love him. The fight I want to see for Sugar Nunez, I want to see Sugar Nunez versus Raymond Ford. I think Sugar Nunez versus Raymond Ford is one of the best fights at 130. Maybe the best fight at 130. DV says he's getting investment, but you never know because Matchroom can't promote in North America. Well, yeah, I'm sure he's getting some investment because he's gotten onto some cards, like some decent cards. But like, I'm talking about the investment where like he's being put in our face. Like I shouldn't be able to scroll through my Instagram feed with Matchroom on my feed and not hear about Sugar Nunez. I feel like he should be getting pushed all the time, and he's not. Chola says, dropping heat knowledge from Japan. Thank you, BT. Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you. Who do I got in that fight? I feel like Nunez versus Ford is a good fight. I would lean towards Ford in that fight. You know, Nunez could put him out, but Ford could, at this like Raymond Ford at 130, he's not like Raymond Ford at 126. The Ford at 126 was lethargic, was weight drained. And I think now, because it's funny, right? Like when Ford beat Komatov, which I still can't believe he beat Komatov the way he did, kind of heartbreaking. But nonetheless, I remember after the fight when I started talking to a lot of guys from his team, they told me that Raymond Ford naturally likes to fight in the pocket and be an aggressive fighter, right? And then when he fought, what's his name? What's that guy's name he's beat? Orlando Gonzalez. Orlando Cabo Gonzalez. When I watched that fight, I saw a big difference in Raymond Ford. So I think he's gonna be as long as he can make the weight healthily at 130. I think it'll be a hard guy to knock out at 130 because he can box, he's athletic, he can punch. Yeah, man, Raymond Ford. I think he gonna have some. He'll have some things for Sugar Nunez. Howard says, you act like Raymond Ford is so good with power. Let's see him fight Tank. Y'all will see. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. I think Raymond Ford beat Lamar Roach. They fought. I'd put money on it. Like I don't even put money on fights. But if I'm as confident as I am, I'll put money on Raymond Ford beating Lamar Roach. They fought. In fact, I'll put money on Raymond Ford beating Lamar Roach. I'll put money on Raymond Ford beating what was the other guy's name? He beat Moxile. He beat like pretty much anybody who Tank is fighting or rumored to fight or who's a backup opponent. Raymond Ford could beat those guys. Now, as far as him beating Tank, I don't think he will beat Tank. I'll be honest with you, but I think it'd be a better fight than what we're gonna get on March 1st. Ghost says, Oshaki Foster is going to beat the fuck out of him. Nah, I don't think so. Shock Foster can box. Raymond Ford can box too. And I think Raymond Ford's a more dynamic offensive fighter than Shock Foster at 130. Foster's not gonna UD him. No way. I don't think so. Raymond Ford is weight bully. He already saying he's bigger than a 135-pound guys. He is. He's huge. Look, I'll be honest. I didn't really know. I didn't really think Raymond Ford was that damn big until I saw him in person. Like, it's not that he's like tall, but it's just he's wide. He has a big frame. He's got a big frame. He could easily be a lightweight. Like Raymond Ford could easily have 2 fights at 130, win a title, and go to 135. He's that damn big. So, do I think Ford is better than Otar? I think he's a more offensively dynamic fighter than Otar. I'd love to see that fight. They should make that fight happen. I'd love to see that fight. Because Otar is going to bring the pressure, and Ford can counterpunch, and he's strong. But Ford throws his punches at the same speed. That's why he didn't get the knockout against Orlando Gonzalez. He should have, but he didn't. So I feel like Otarka. I feel like that's a damn near pick 'em fight to me. Gold says BT that we believe shit don't work with Foster. He gonna get outboxed. That power don't mean shit when it won't land. Shock is gonna beat the fuck out of him. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I seen Conceição have a little too much success punching in between the guard in their two fights. And Conceição don't got the reflexes or speed of a Ford. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you, but I want to see the fight. I don't mind being wrong, but I sure as hell don't mind being right. So I don't mind seeing it. Mr. 2A says, "Hey BT, thanks for not taking me up on the bet. I just talk crap because I don't put money on fights." Yeah, I don't listen, man. People be annoying me on social media. They be like, anytime I disagree, everyone was like, "Let's bet something. Let's bet something." I'm like, bro, I don't need y'all's money. Like, I got my own money. Like, I do okay for myself. You see, I'm in Japan. Like, I'm not no rich man, but like, I'm blessed. I'm a blessed individual. Like, so I don't need to take your money. And sometimes people think they know what they're talking about, and they be like, "Let's bet something." And then I tell them all the time, like, I'm showing you grace. Like, I'm trying to not take your money. I'm showing you grace. Thank God I'm this humble and I don't take your money. But yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, like Shock Foster, good fight. I got a lot of love for Shocky Foster, but hot and cold as a fighter. I hope they get that fight done. Shock's best trait is his ability to adapt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a bad game to play Raymond Ford. He said, take the niggas' money. Nah, I'm not taking their money, bro. I don't need their money. I got my own money. Technically, if they're coming on my channel to watch my videos, I'm already taking the money because I got money from the views they gave me. Hyro said you just said it. Yeah, it came out. It came out, champ. It came out. God forgive me. Said it on my live. No, Raymond Ford loses rounds. You can beat Raymond Ford. I'm not saying he can't lose rounds. I'm just saying he's a different, like, it's not hard to see he's a different guy at 30 than he was at 26. he said, Partnership said, nah, he said, nah, man. He said, nah, fuck all that. Let's bet something. Let's bet. No, we're not doing that, champ. We're not betting nothing. Raymond Ford should trust in his skills and fight guys his own size. Edwin De Los Santos needs an opponent. Get that work, champ. I love that fight. They should do that fight. Now that one, now we're talking. He might run into some shit he don't like in that fight. Edwin got some pop. Edwin's a dangerous guy. I like that fight. But Ford's gonna stay at 30. He's not going to 35 unless the money's right. Eddie Hearn, you gotta remember, Ford is like one of the only guys Eddie Hearn's actually made champion from America. Like, it's actually one of the only things he can really hang his hat on. And really and truthfully, Raymond Ford, I don't think Eddie Hearn could afford Raymond Ford to lose. Because again, he's hanging on to, like, building him from the pros to a champion. And it kind of happened on accident, really, if I'm being honest. Like, Ford did his job and won the title, but like Eddie Hearn didn't even believe enough in Ford to win the purse bid. That's a fact. They let Top Rank win the purse bid, and Ford had to fight a Uzbek in America as the B-side. That's a fact. So I'm not even sure how much credit I could give Eddie, to be honest. Like, I give him his credit for building him up, but when it came time to win the damn purse bid, you didn't believe in your guy. You didn't keep that same energy. So. BT will literally take your whole net worth. Yeah, facts. Hyro says, BT, what are you talking about? There's no money at 130. Yeah, but there's no money in losing fights either. And if Eddie Hearn brings up Raymond Ford to 135, the percentage of him losing will go up higher. It'll be higher because there's better fighters there. 130 is not a good weight class right now. Raymond Ford is a manufactured product. Eddie Hearn, he will never match him versus a guy he knows he will lose to. Everyone will never get at that fight. That's not true, because Eddie, I mean, you have to, plus, like, let's be real with Eddie Hearn, when it comes to his matchmakers, decision-making skills, who they think guys can lose to doesn't even matter. They get their guys get beat all the time, so I don't think that really matters for them like it would for other promotional companies. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Raymond Ford, the money may not be at 130, but the money is in him winning. And if he can win and become a two-division champion and defend the belt and maybe sell some tickets in New Jersey and things like that, then you know how it's gonna go. He'll win some titles. And then he'll start talking about Tank like he's starting to do now, and people will start paying attention to him more. And hell, you know, Tank might have to run and fight him, and Eddie will do that fight. Have you seen Keyshawn lately? It seems like he's overlooking Branchek. He better tighten up. Yeah, man. I don't know if I'll say he's overlooking him, but it seems like he's talking about everybody else but Branchek. So yeah, that's pretty much overlooking someone. Listen, Branchek is an Olympian with good footwork, very crafty. He ain't the one to overlook. So I agree with you. He better get his stuff in order and get ready for that Ukrainian who's coming to pop the balloon, pop the hype train before it even gets going. Yeah. Who do I got? Ryan Garcia or Ford? Ryan Garcia, for sure. But really, is Ford versus Foster negotiation? I don't know. Hopefully it is. If they get that fight done, I'd love to go to that fight. That's a fun fight. That's a good American rivalry, you know. And these days, with all the fights going to Saudi, I'm really starting to enjoy, appreciate, you know, good fights happening in America more often, because they don't really happen anymore like that, like they used to. So anytime a good American fight gets announced, I'm hoping it's a good fight. Hoping it goes well, because I want boxing to do well in America. I want boxing to stay in America as much as possible. Do I got Keyshawn Davis beating Branchek? Yes, 1,000%. But it's a tough fight though. I'm not one of these people that because I've seen a lot of dick riders say, "Oh yeah, Keyshawn gonna crush. He gonna step on." No, Branchek is tough, and if he's not focused, you know, Branchek might put his name on the resume, just like he did Navarrete, you know. He said, "Let's bet something." What about the pro cards? The one with Lester Martinez as the Yeah, oh my God, that's a great fight. Lester Martinez versus Joshon James. That's one of the best fights in boxing. That's one of the most exciting fights in boxing. I'll love to go to that fight. That's one for the hardcores. Like if you know who those two guys are, you definitely know your boxing. BT, who's the best at 135? You know, it's a good question. I used to always, because when Shakur Stevenson came out at the Olympics, that was like the guy I was highest on. But I've been seeing things over the years that I'm not really too fond of. And then I used to always give Gervonta Davis all this criticism, because he was and he has cherry picked guys in the past. But he's fought good fighters too, and he's beat the brakes off of them, right? So I'm to that point where I'm like, you know what? Gervonta Davis is the best. I think he's the best. I think he's the best fighter at 135. You know? And I think when the time comes and those fights do happen, because they will happen, because they all make money and they're all big. I think when they all do happen, I think he's gonna beat all those guys. Versatile counter puncher with both hands. He can box too. It's just that nobody's been good enough to stand up to the power to make him have to box. And you know, he's good at cutting off the ring and making opponents fight when they don't want to fight. So I've gone back and forth so many times between Shakur and Tank and Shakur, but I think I'm getting to that point now where I'm starting to really settle in on, you know what, I'm going with Tank. I think Tank's gonna beat Shakur. I've been thinking Tank's gonna knock out Devin. I don't really think much of Devin. I think he's a good fighter, but I think he's probably out of Tio, Tank, Shakur, and Devin. Devin to me is the most overrated and regular of the four. That's my opinion. I've been thinking that Tio would be a good fight. That'd be an interesting fight if they fight Tank and Tio. I think Tio would have a chance because Tio is probably the only guy that can match Tank in the athleticism department. Not in terms of being an explosive puncher because he's at 140 now. But I think Tank will get him too. Yes, Shakur has the best chance. Shakur has the best chance of like the guys that Tank's always compared to. I actually think the toughest fight for Tank will be Keyshawn Davis, because Keyshawn Davis is the one guy that I think has the firepower to actually maybe put Tank on the back foot a little bit. Like put Tank on the back foot and make Tank have to actually dig into his bag a little bit. All the other guys, they're a little one-dimensional, mechanical. Only thing with Keyshawn is like I haven't really seen Keyshawn hit too many times. We saw Keyshawn get hit by Nahir Albright. He took it well, but Tank ain't no Nahir Albright. Tank has them bricks in his hands. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my good friend back in the States. The other kid from Daniel, my boy Paul writes. He says True School Sports is the best boxing channel on YouTube. Yes, sir. Thank you, Paul. He's seen it from the beginning, so he knows the kind of work that's been put on here. Good to see you, Paul. Hope all is well. Good talking to you. Good talking to you on the phone the other day, Paul. Zim Mills says Devin was always the most overrated. He's not really special in any area. I've been saying this way before Ryan exploded. Yeah, that's why I'm not trying to put him down. I like Bill. Shout out to them. God bless them. Like, I never understood, for the life of me, everybody's entitled to like who you like as a fighter, but if we're just judging off skill set, right? I never understood what the obsession with a lot of boxing fans with Devin Haney was. Devin Haney is a regular, he's a good fighter. He's a disciplined fighter. I respect what he's given to the sport, but he's not no otherworldly talent. Like, he's not Tank. He's not them guys. He's not he's a good technical fighter who's pretty big for the weight classes he's been fighting in. That's why he rehydrates so damn much. Doesn't have like otherworldly speed, not otherworldly power. He's not like this, A+ counter puncher. He's just very good, solid, fundamental fighter who is disciplined enough to cut down in weight, Punisher says Devin is so good, but he has no power at all. He throws everything. No, he's not a big power puncher. I think part of the reason why he doesn't have any power is because he's not fighting at the weight class he should be fighting at. He should be fighting at welterweight because when he fought Prograis at 140, he rehydrates like 170. He's putting on like 30 pounds on fight night. So if you're rehydrating that damn high, okay, that means your body should not be down that low in weight. Do I got Tank in my top 10 pound for pound? Yes, I have Tank 10. I have Tank 10. I have Tank higher because he's dominant, but he's not really fought the competition that I have with the guys above him. There's some guys above him that I think he's more talented than. There's a lot of guys I think in terms of pure talent, he's a top 5 pound for pound fighter easily. But pound for pound for me, it's not just about talent. It's about domination, and it's about who are you beating and how are you beating them. He hasn't fought like the who's who of his weight class. So he can't be above certain guys just because they've been fighting the who's who of their weight class and they've been winning and they've been looking good and they've been doing their thing. But I have 9 or 10, somewhere around there. He said, finish my comments. He doesn't have any power at all. He throws everything. A lot of punches, has good timing and accuracy. He doesn't hesitate in his punches. That's a recipe to get a KO, but he can't. Well, that's the thing. Devin, there's not a whole lot of in between. There's not a ton of probing and there's not a lot of feints. It's just either he's moving around or he's committing. There's no in between. The real good fighters, the real top fighters, it's the stuff they do in between punching and moving around. It's the probes with the jab. It's the counter punching. It's the feints with the feet, the feints with the shoulders. These are the subtle things that make a fighter great and set up big shots. Devin don't do those things at an elite top level. He moves well, and he commits well, and he has a good jab. That's Devin. H Money's going crazy because Morrell was his boy. Look, man. Look. I'm not here to talk about the other channels, you know. This is the true school era. All these other channels had their time. We're not gonna talk about other channels, but you know, hey, we all have our favorites, and I know when my favorite fighters have lost, I've got mad too. So it happens to all of us. So God bless him. But yeah, we're 1 hour and 49 minutes in. So I'm gonna go for like 10 more minutes. We'll do it even 2 hours, and then I'll dip out of here because I gotta start packing. And I might have to go see a couple more people before I leave Japan, and then I have to go to the airport tomorrow. So, yeah, man, Japan 2025, Japan 2024, 2025 is pretty much in the books. I can't believe it. It all went by so fast, but it was a beautiful time. It was honestly, it was like the most beautiful 90 days of my entire life. Honestly, from day one to right now, the most beautiful 90 days of my life. Everything that I did to get here to Japan was worth it, and I would never redo anything. I'm happy I came back to Japan. And I can't wait for next year. I'm counting down the days to the middle of 2026. God willing, Pops will be here because Pops still hasn't come to Japan with me yet. So I'm a Japan veteran now. I know about the country pretty well. I've seen a lot of Tokyo. I've seen Osaka. I've seen Nagoya. I've seen Kyoto. I've seen Yokohama. I've been to the Shikoku Islands, way out in West Japan. I know Japan. Chola says, man, no more. Thank you. God bless. Yeah, I mean, I want everyone to know that even though I'm not going to be in Japan, right? I'm not going to be in Japan any longer after tomorrow. But just because I'm not in Japan, it doesn't mean that the Japanese boxing content stops. If anything, the Japanese boxing content only just getting started. We're going to even turn it up another notch here on True School Sports with the Japanese content. So I'm still going to cover like stuff that goes on here in Japan outside of just Inoue, like Inoue, Kenshiro, Junto, and anything else that's notable here in Japan. So it will never end. It's part of the channel. Like whether I like it or not. At this point, whether I like it or not, covering Japanese boxing it's just part of the True School Sports legacy. It's part of one of the things that we're known for. He says, yeah, I agree, but you can't have everything. I still think he is a good fighter. He does things well, but he has no power like at all for how good he lands. No, I understand. I think the reason why Devin's power isn't great is because he's not fighting at his actual weight. I think if he fought at welterweight, he'd be a bit of a bigger puncher. Zim Millie says, I'm proud of the growth, homie. Yeah, I definitely grown in the last 90 days. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not the same person I was when I came here. That's for damn sure. BT is now Japanese American. At this point, I mean, I don't know enough. I know like 10 words of Japanese, and I can't really speak in full sentences yet. But at this point, I'm getting there. But I know a lot of the Japanese nationals. In Japan, I know like if you move here, from what I've learned from talking to people that are not, native Japanese people that moved here and that know Japanese, they're like, you know what? In Japan, it's not like America. Like in America, if you move to America, anyone can be recognized as an American. That's one of the great things about our country is that you could be from the slums of some other country and come to our country and become an American citizen and work hard and have your kids born there and you're considered an American and it's beautiful. But in Japan, it's not like that. It's like you can know as much Japanese as possible. You can get a Japanese woman pregnant. Your kids could even be half Japanese, but you'll never be Japanese, So it's like one of those things. But it is what it is. BT, any Hrgovic updates? Yeah, I made a video about Hrgovic about a month ago. I got in touch with him. He said that he should be fighting probably in the first 4 to 5 months of this year. I've heard some rumors about where his next fight might be. I know he's in camp right now. He's doing camp in Big Bear. So that's all I know. BT's coming back, so he don't gotta pay child support. No, man, no. There was this one girl though. She was cool at first, but she played herself. I had to let her go. It's kind of sad because I did like her a little bit, but she was on that bullshit. Zim Mills says, this is why I fuck with you, bro. Most boxing channels only speak about 7 to 8 fighters that they think will generate the best numbers. You talk about all the boxing, even the guys you know on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I do some videos, like especially the prospect videos, I know when I do these videos, I'm not gonna get like more than 300 views on some of these videos, 200 views, but I don't give a damn. Because when you've had videos do 4 million views, 2 million views, 100,000, 500,000, 700,000, it all feels the same. Like, honestly, in my mind, and 500 views and 5,000 views, it all feels the same to me. I had to get like 6 million views or more for anything to feel different to me. So at this point, I'm just trying to make content I like and that people like and that serves the greater good of covering sport of boxing at the highest level. You know, and that helps the boxing fans stay as informed as possible. You know, so that they can find so that they can be exposed to other fighters that they might like, because there might be fighters that are not getting promoted that you might actually wind up liking, but you know, the promoters aren't promoting them. So let True School be the guy that promotes them and talks about them and puts their names out there. BT, it's cool. When you come back, when you go to the tank fight, I'll find you a bet. Please, I mean, look, I ain't never gonna say nothing bad about Latina. That's my thing. You know, that's the main thing. I think there's beauty. Hold on. I think there's beauty in every culture, but shit, I ain't never gonna say no bad. I'm never gonna say no to no bad Latinas. The girl from Japan that I was messing with she was like half Japanese, half Colombian. She was cool, but then she got on a bunch of bullshit, so I had to let her go. And it hurt me more than it hurt her, but it is what it is. You gotta do these things. You gotta respect yourself. Will you do a video on world ranking contender Jason Vason? I don't know Jason Vason, so you gotta put me on game. Who's Jason Vason? What weight class is he? He says, shit, I'll sell you some on IG later, BT. All right. All right, got you. I like your channel, feels good. I love boxing and it's cool. I can chill a bit and yap about boxing. Yeah, man, that's what we're here to do. You know, life is hard. The world is a hard place to function in many times. So it's good that we can come here for whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long, and just talk boxing and have fun and laugh and, you know, make people's days a little better. Because that's really what this channel's about. It's like people go to work, they got like tough jobs to do, so they might be driving the truck, they might be in the office, they might be doing something they don't like, but they get to hear BT and True School talk that world-class boxing talk, and that makes the 2 hours, makes the day go by quicker. How do you meet girls out there when y'all don't even speak the same language? It's a great question. If you go to certain places in Tokyo, there's girls that speak English. Google translators are things, so that helps. But I know like little phrases in Japanese, so they can understand what I'm saying to them. That little word, a couple words here and there. He lost a decision to a quit last year or 2 years ago when he was back at one. Oh, okay. I might have seen him fight then, because I was watching the Sego's fight, but I don't remember his name for some reason. I'll check him out though. He's fighting Christian Arianeta, the Filipino. I'll check him out. BT, if Ryan and Ford ever fight, let's bet. I got Ryan. Well, I'm picking Ryan too. You asked me that earlier, and I said I was picking Ryan as well. So I don't know why. I don't know why you trying to bet. If I agree with you, why you trying to bet with me? Go find someone from New Jersey and go bet with them. They'll pick Ford. MAW, what's good, champ? Good to see you. Is the $2? Oh man, you getting real personal. You trying to take it? You trying to get me like in trouble? I don't know who's watching these lives. Is the $2? He said, is the $2 sucky real? I don't know about $2, but yeah, I mean those things exist. Those things exist. BT, he just wants to donate his money to you. He don't know yet. So what did I miss? What was your assessment of Dave Benavidez? I thought Benavidez would perform well. I thought Benavidez, obviously Morrell's an explosive puncher and was dangerous the whole 12 rounds. But I thought Benavidez stood to the power and, He just did what he needed to do. Place the shots to the body enough to slow down Morrell just enough, and you know, I would have loved to see him get the stoppage, but you know, credit to Morrell. Morrell showed his durability, his toughness. You know, because Morrell had never really gone this deep in a fight probably since he fought like Lennox Allen. You know. Bam Rodriguez, you're funny. I'm not even gonna get that no energy. Bam Rodriguez, you're funny. You're funny. Benavidez showed he is this monster. He is a human. He slows down. He can be hurt. Anybody can. Benavidez can be hurt. Inoue can be hurt. Espinoza can be hurt. Angelo can be hurt. Any fighter can get hurt. Crawford can be hurt. Boots can be hurt. Beterbiev can be hurt. Nobody's indestructible. I wish more boxing fans understood that principle, that like no matter how good you think a fighter is and no matter how much of a god you might think they are and might idol worship them, that don't mean nothing. They're not God. They're flesh and bones. So if you flesh and bones, you're a mortal man, you can get your shit pushed back and you can get knocked down. You get knocked out. Artur Beterbiev going to put him in the dirt. Listen, man. I need to see. Listen. In this Bivol fight, I need to see the Artur that like fought Joe Smith and was knocking people out. He took too long to get started in that first fight, and he won. Like on a bad night, he still won. But I need to see the Artur, not the guy I saw the last fight. BT, most of these guys don't got a memo in their camp. One of them got Conti, but Memo, Marquez, and Andy Reid's last two. Who much of them? Yeah, I always laugh. I always laugh. Bro, you better, bro, you be glazing Leo too much. Admit when someone is better, you being biased. You said that Bam would beat Angelo, and Bam's a fucking 115 pounder. Bam won't even fight the best guys in and around this weight. And you talking about he gonna come to featherweight and beat Angelo? Get out of here. And you call it glazing, motherfucker? I'm part of the team. I'm part of the. I play an active role in actually helping him succeed in boxing. So you're damn right I'm gonna believe in Angelo. If you actually had any if you actually played any role in Bam at all doing well as a fighter, you would believe in him too. So for me to like not believe in Angelo is for me to not believe in myself. But to address your comment, you said Bam would beat Angelo. They're not even in the same weight class. Why don't Bam go fight Junto? How about that? Why don't Bam go fight Junto? Why don't Bam go fight Kafu? Why don't Bam go fight someone in this weight class that's like a top guy, instead of fighting all the guys that used to be top guys that have names that are old? You guys made me laugh. Like you guys, like some of you guys made me laugh. You guys be like, oh, BT, you're being biased towards Angelo. No, I'm not being biased towards. I tell you guys the featherweights that I think could beat him or have a chance. You guys just don't like it when it's fighters that you think are better than they really are, like Brandon Figueroa. But of course I'm gonna believe in Angelo. I'm part of the fucking team. I'm when he fought Venado Lopez, I'm sitting there with Miguel and him and Johnny, and we're watching Joet Gonzalez versus Venado Lopez 50 times, and I'm taking notes and I'm watching the whole featherweight division and coming up with and helping them fine tune the game plan. You damn right I'm gonna believe. So I don't care if it's Bam. I don't care if it's Inoue. I don't care if it's Junto. I don't care if it's any of them. I'm believing in Angelo, all of them. I don't care if it's Kameda. I don't care if it's Fulton. You name the names. Name the names at featherweight. I don't care if it was Raymond Ford. I don't care if it's Komatov. I don't care if it's Quayle. Angelo Leo is the best featherweight in the world. And he not only is he the best featherweight in the world, he's the most prepared featherweight in the world, because he had. I want you guys to think about this. In his corner, you got his dad, Miguel, who you guys may not know, and I'll interview him soon so you guys can know. One of the best trainers in boxing, one of the smartest people I know in boxing. That's his trainer. Then you got Luis Chavez, who trained Danny Romero, been in boxing 40 years, produced 4 world champions. That's a guy in his corner too. Then you got me, who don't got no life, who just watches boxing all day and knows the whole featherweight division inside and out. And then you got Johnny, knows a lot about boxing, and then you put all of us together. Come on, man. Why do you think And I'm not trying to like get cocky because I understand anybody can be knocked out. It can happen to us. But why do you think the Venado fight looks so good? Come on, man. Don't play with me. Other than Sai, Benavidez has enough to defeat Canelo. It'd be nice if we could just find it out and they could just fight. But like Canelo doesn't seem to want a fight with him. So it is what it is. Happens. It's boxing. The comment saying that he ain't no monster, but he made Morrell shut up and all hesitant. I'm not gonna put down Morrell. I'm not gonna put down Benavidez. I thought they both fought well. I think Morrell just needs more experience, and I think Benavidez needs to learn how to finish his opponents at light heavyweight. Because the reality is this: now, if you wanna start getting nitpicking, right? Because it's very easy to nitpick any fighter. You can pick any fighter in boxing. Name the fighter. You can nitpick any fighter in boxing. But like with Benavidez, he's had 2 fights as light heavyweight now, and he has yet to register a stoppage as a light heavyweight. He didn't stop Bostic, he didn't stop Morrell, and those are both fights where he was expected to stop at least one of them. He didn't stop either of them. So if you're gonna criticize anything about Benavidez, criticize his ability to finish and his power. You know, that's what I would say. That's what I can say. And you know what? The last thing I'll say about Bam and Angelo, I don't even want to talk bad about Bam. I was addressing the comment. In fact, if you ask Angelo, Angelo will tell you himself that Bam is one of his favorite fighters to watch. I respect Bam Rodriguez. I respect Robert Garcia and everything that they've accomplished in boxing. But what I don't respect is people that want to always like I'm just here chilling and talking boxing. I'm cool. I'm here in Japan. I'm just enjoying my last couple moments in Japan. And they wanna try to get me to crash out. And then when I really turn up on them, when I really turn up and the Broward County comes out of me, then it's a problem. Bivol didn't stop anybody for years and nobody complained. That's true. That's true. You're right. Bivol didn't stop anybody for like what, 7, 8 years? Till he fought Malik Zanad. It's a bit different though, because people don't really expect Bivol to get knockouts. They expect Bivol to box and look well. So it's just like a different expectation. But I agree with your point, Harold. I feel you, champ. But that means you're biased, and that means you're not credible when you're talking about Leo. Being biased doesn't mean good, but I understand. No. If there's one fighter where I'm the most credible when it comes to Angelo, I was in the fucking training camp of Venado, and go check all my videos. I told you guys going into the fight. I said, hey, Angelo is going to beat the fucking dog shit out of Venado. It's gonna be this kind of a fight. He's gonna beat the hell out of him. Oh, being biased. What happened to him? What happened to Venado? What happened to him? Like I'm trying not to be this way. I'm trying to like not crash out and be this way, but you guys are bringing it out. I'm telling you guys that Mirko Cuellar will give him a tough fight. I'm telling you guys that Inoue, has, of course, Inoue could be anybody. I'm telling you guys, Espinoza is a very good fighter. He's got a lot of flaws. I see things that we could use to beat him. So it's not being biased. I'm part of the team. I'm literally like there with Miguel and Angelo, helping them like fine tune the game plan. I mean, they execute, but I'm there watching these guys, like the opponents and things. So to not believe in Angelo would mean that I don't believe in myself. And I don't know about you guys. Maybe you don't believe in yourself. Maybe you don't think you could do much in life. But I always back myself, and I always think I can do well in life. So no, I can't do that. Did it ever occur to you guys that maybe I just think Angelo's a great fighter? Did it ever occur to anybody that that's actually just what I genuinely believe? Like, it's not a matter of me being biased. It's not a matter. Like, did that ever occur to any of you guys that maybe I actually just am with him? I was with him for the whole camp for Venado, and I've been with Angelo. Like, me and Angelo have been friends for 5 years. I've seen him spar Kermel Moen. I've seen him spar Hector Garcia. I've seen him spar all kinds of top fighters. I saw him spar when he didn't really have a world-class jab. I saw him when his balance wasn't like what it is now. I've seen the development. So I'm allowed to have an opinion. It's the most educated opinion on the fucking fighter in boxing. How about that? This turn to the Angelo Leo channel, bro. Don't be biased. How is it the Angelo Leo channel? I post like for every Angelo video I make, I post like way more inner-weight content. Like he's not even the most covered fighter on this channel. It's just that you guys hear about him a lot, and nobody else in boxing talks about him like that because he don't really talk a lot like that, and Top Rank don't push him like that. So I'm the only one really talking about him the way he should. But he's one of the top fighters. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about him anymore because I was here just chilling, and you guys get me worked up, and you got fucking Devin Haney as your picture for your name. So I shouldn't really take anything you say serious because you like regular fighters, super regular fighters. I'm talking, man. But look, I think you're right. On that note, I'm gonna end the live. I think I said what I needed to say about Benavidez, Morrell, Fulton, Figueroa, everything else you guys wanted to talk about. Angelo, you know. By the way, since you brought up Angelo, May 24th, Tomoki Kameda. Go make sure you guys tune in and watch that fight. It'll be fun. Former world champion out here in Japan. But yeah, I have to go pack now and get ready for the States. So there's plenty of boxing to cover when I get to the States. And you guys stay tuned to all the content on True School Sports. We'll be at 85,000 subscribers soon. So I appreciate all the support that we're getting and all the things that are going on here on True School Sports. And yeah, you guys take care. Be blessed. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time, take care, guys.